Hola amigos, hola amigas, Dorian here from Hoover. Welcome, bienvenido, croeso y salam alaikum. Welcome to the channel y'all. Annyeong, chesht, how are you all? So today I have here a box of bits. What are these bits? Well, here we have an old Hoover. A very old, scratched, well used, well loved, possibly at one time, model 800 with the serial number 8156273. Here we have the main body. We have some tubes. We have the handle. Well, part of the handle. We have a motor covering. The top. And lots of other little tiny little bits, as you can see here, including some of the accessories and of course the floor heads as well. So we literally have all the metal parts of one of these what did I say it was? Model 800. So we have the whole ensemble of parts here that we are going to polish. So let's put my box down there for a minute. Let me give you guys a bit closer and you can see what I have here on the table. Okay you guys, so what do I have here? Here I have, it is a James Products, and this is a sonic cleaner that you use for jewellery, gold, silver, but also these little metal bits as well. It should work absolutely fine if they will fit in and they can be covered. Then these parts will fit in fine. All of these, I'm afraid, are just too big. I don't have a big enough sonic cleaner. These are for putting with the watch over, for doing watch straps. These are for putting rings on, and this is the little basket. Some of these pieces will fit in the little basket, and some of them, maybe, we'll have to see, but you can also put them in like that as well. Touching the bottom doesn't really make a difference. So I have the solution that this came with, that was recommended, Easy Clean Metal and Jewellery Concentrate, as used by professionals. And here I have a kettle of hot water that I've boiled, but it is not boiling, it is just hot, which you also need. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put in to the basket. You don't want to overload it. So there we go. I will put those parts in first. I am going to put in 20 mils of the solution, like so, in this handy measuring. Pour that in. I am now going to pour the hot water in till the parts are covered, like so. I'm going to set the timer. Whoop. Let me try that again. I'm going to set the timer up to max, which is 480 seconds. I'm going to put the lid on so you can see the bits here inside. Actually, that's not entirely covered, I just noticed. There we go. Pop on the lid and press power, and leave that now until it's done. So that is done its time is up. I've got a little pick here, and I'm just going to turn off my iPad a second. And I'm going to just flip these over. So I'm going to do the other side. bugger. So upside down, just to make sure everything's turned around a bit. Nothing is touching. Okay, and I'm going to put these on again for another 480 seconds. Let them have a second blast. Okie dokie, another 480 seconds have passed. The bits are now cooked. I am going to turn off the sky again. Because I've just been watching Pretty Woman in between the 480 seconds. So what I'm going to do is pull out these parts, pop them out, so that they are ready for a little polishing, because these aren't going to need much. I'm not going to use the basket, so the basket can go to one side. And as you can see, the water in there is now very, very, very dirty and very manky. So I'm just going to go tip this out. One thing you will notice about when you're polishing stuff, you will go through a lot of cloths in the process. So now that that is nice and clean, I can put that back on. Next, see what fits in like groups, like Lego pieces. They will fit in. Again, another 40 mils of the cleaning solution. Fill it up so they're covered with hot water. Not too much, I might have to turn them over. My lid. Actually, I am going to move this to one side. Set the timer. 480 seconds. Press power, and now concentrate on these little. Oh, did I forget about that? I did. And then concentrate on these little parts. This is where peak polish comes into its own, because peak polish is fantastic for finishing off stuff that you've already kind of cleaned. I prefer Mother's mag and aluminium polish. God, that smells like bleach. So I'm going to need gloves. Like so, that match Tradies gloves. And we are going with the laborious task of polishing the metal. These little bits can be done by hand using the peak. Just make sure you rub it in. Nicely. Keep changing the area of the cloth. Polishing stuff like this, polishing metal like this, is a labor of love, believe me. So I'm just going to do this side as well. Move my cloth over, a bit more peak. It doesn't take too long. And take yet another cloth and buff it off. And there you have a lovely shiny part. Just keep buffing it. Until you're done. And you have to do this for every single little part you have. It's one cloth. And then a third cloth for the final buff. And there we go. Perfectly lovely and shiny. So I'm going to put the polished parts to one side and continue. But I'm going to do this on fast forward because I will bore you guys to tears. So once all of these are done and polished, we'll come back. Okay, so that is the first bit done. I just need to take out this little piece that I forgot to put in. And the pieces that I've done with the in the bucket, in the sonic cleaner, they're all clean. This little piece seems to be plated, so I'm not going to buff it because it'll take the plate off, but putting it in there to clean has shined it up. It's the Shine-a-lator. So let me just get the pieces that I've done. Put them out here for you to see. This is a very labor-intensive, long, messy process. And there we go. That is what the parts kind of resemble to begin with. And here they all are now, with these parts anyway, look, I'm covered, polished and cleaned. This top part, the coffee can top, as you can see, that looks amazing. I've done that with a mixture of two different types of wire wool. I have been using this coarser one, which is a 1 grade, and then I have a roll of this one, which is the finer one, which is triple O or quadruple O for the finishing. And what I've been doing is cutting off little sections, as you see here, putting them onto the sponge part of this drill that I use for polishing. This little pad I'm not going to be using for anything, just as you can see it gets very, very dirty. So just have to keep with another cloth just absorbing the black off, otherwise it's going to skit and sket absolutely everywhere, which is already done. And what I do then is cut the piece out, put it on here, and then just like I do with the plastic polishing, go around it nice and fast, over the top of it, rub it off, then the smaller, finer pieces, and then do the same to that as well to give it its shine. It's not going to get rid of the scratches or anything. I do have a load of different types of wet sand in here for wet sanding metal, but that's all I'm going to be doing with this, is just trying to shine it up as much as I can, so at least it makes the machine look, even though it has the patina and the scratches and its characteristics, it is still looking lovely and shiny. And after Sam has put this whole thing together, he will just run over it with a little bit of peak or something similar, just to get rid of any finger marks or grease marks or whatever while he's putting it together. But the machine will look decidedly different once we have finished it. So these are the smaller parts done and dusted, nice and easy. We are now going to be coming on to the larger parts. There's the hose ends. They are going to be nice and easy to do, so that's what I'm going to do next. That's all that they will require is the very, very fine wire wool, just up and along the tubes. It's a bit of it takes a bit of a process, but then it's a bit of a batch of it. We'll be about halfway through once we do that, so that will make a big difference getting the tubes done, this done. So I'm going to do the tubes next, and this handle. I'm then going to be working on this. I can't do anything with because this is a plated part. If I were to do anything to this, it would look absolutely terrible. So this is in really good condition, so I'm not going to touch it, and I'll tell Sam that can just stay on underneath, because that's the way it's meant to be, because it's got a protective coating on it. Don't want to take that off, so we can consider that piece done. And then I'm going to concentrate then on these 4 floor heads. These are for an Electrolux that Sam is doing, so these are just the tops, nice and easy. These will be, he's got the 2 heads there and that floor head there. I think this might actually be for the Hoover, part of the extension part of it. But yeah, these bits are done, so what I'm going to do is take a picture of them, send them to Sam, and then I'm going to clear all this away, and I'm going to put a nice big cloth down and carry on doing it then. So I shall see you in a minute. Okay, so that is those parts done and dusted. Next I have to work on these 4 tubes, all identical. Some of them have a little bit of marks on them, the other ones, is there something rattling inside? No. So we got 4 tubes, and the handle is going to be polished by hand. First of all, I'm going to give it a quick rub over with the rough, and then I'm going to finish it off with smoother, the finer wire stuff. So I'm going to do this by hand. They're not that badly tarnished, so the cleaning process isn't going to be too bad. But I've set out a nice big cloth over everything to stop any spraying for when I'm doing the bigger parts. Oops, sugar cubes, which is this, and the big mama, which is the base. So we'll pop them to one side. So my mission for today is to get these done, and then I will continue with the polishing of the other parts tomorrow. I've got my iPad here, and I'm going to watch a little bit of Star Trek Next Generation on Sky. We had Sky fitted yesterday. So that's brilliant, because we've got the Q box in the living room, the kitchen, and also Sky Go and everything. So, and the Wi-Fi boosters out here as well, so I get good Wi-Fi signal, so I will be able to watch while you guys watch me, basically, doing the polishing. Right, that's enough waffling. Let's crack on. Okay, I have done as much as I'm going to do for tonight. Got absolutely loads done of it. So the last thing I did was this, which was the motor covering. That now looks so much better than what it did. I've got the top here. Yeah, the metal cap. So if I just pop that on, temporarily. There we go. So you will see now that the coffee can, as it's called, the coffee can vacuum top, is now looking beautiful. Really, really nice and shiny. Even it still looks old, if you know what I mean, but it looks cared for. and lovely and shiny. I've also done the tubes and of course the handle as well. So the last thing for me to do, actually we're not going to do that, I can go back in. So the last thing I need to do is this handle part, which goes across it. This will look much better. And these little pieces of Electrolux and the Hoover tool. And then the big mama, which is this. And that is going to take a lot of polishing to get it looking nice and shiny, but it will. After using the drill, I'm going to be using the drill part on it, and that's going to work really good. But so far so good. Everything looks absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see the entire machine put back together, because it's going to look really, really nice. It looks like a helmet, or it looks like some sort of something sci-fi. Anyway, so these go in the box. The box can go down to one side, and I will continue. For me, it'll be tomorrow because it is now almost 9 p.m. For you, it'll just be a few seconds. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so it is now day 2, or the next day, and we are back to do more polishing. So all the parts that I've done are in this box. So I'm just going to put this to one side. And I've got my gloves. And I've got the bits that I've used, the rubbish, that can go in the garbage. Okay, so I have gone through a lot of cloths with the polishing, which will be a good test for the washing machine. Just checking to make sure I am expecting a delivery today. So the next thing I'm going to be doing are these parts and the handle. So they are relatively okay to do by hand without much hassle. This, on the other hand, especially this front part here, not so much this, but this front part, I really want to get to as best a condition as I possibly can. And I have found that the way I'm going to do that is by wet sanding. So I have got all the different types of wet sanding sandpaper here, and all the grades and everything on there are labelled from coarser to the finest. So what I am going to be doing is wet sanding the top of this a little bit, just to see if I can get it just so I can see if I can get some of the marks out of it, because it is really badly scratched. And well, I've never used these before, but I've watched loads of videos on them, so I'm going to give these a go when it comes to this, which will be in the next part. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move you guys closer up over me so you can see what I'm doing. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these parts to do, which I reckon will take me about an hour or so. So I will do them in fast forward for you. And I've got some Peak and Mother's Polish. Gone through a lot of this already. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So let's get messy again. Okay, so what is next, my little whippersnappers? Well, I have polished all these parts, pop them back in the box, and the last part is this beast, the actual main thing, and it is very, very, very badly scratched. It has been very badly treated. So what we're going to do is do some polishing, but I'm going to wet sand it first. So I have a towel here to absorb the water. I have a little thing of some cold water in there. Take my gloves off for a second. And I am going to wet sand it using the drill bit, this polishing bit. So let me take the sandpaper out. This is silicone carbide waterproof abrasive paper, electrocoated 600 CWs, and as you keep going it gets finer and finer and finer. So 600, and that one is 3000. That's 3000. 2500. I'm just trying to put these in some sort of order from finest to thickest. 3000, so we've got 600, 3000, 2500, 600, that's another 2500. We've got 400. There is 2000. 320. 240. I'll have to put these in some sort of order later. We've got 180. 180, then you go back up to 1000. And that one is 150. 120. And that's 8. Okay, so I've got the different ones I'm going to use. So I'm not going to use the 120. I'm not going to use the 150 or the 180 or the 240. I'm going to start off with the 320 and see where I go from there. So I'm going to put these in order of finest to hardest and see how we go when it comes with the polishing. Okay, so how am I going to do this? I am going to cut a piece of this roughly to the sides of that. I'm going to soak it in some water. Like so. Put my gloves back on. Pop this on tight. No, that doesn't grip it. Bugger. No, that's not going to grip either. Ugh, I thought I'd be able to do this with the gripping action. Obviously, I am not. Haha! Okay, so I am just going to have to do this by hand. literally do it by hand. And there you can see the metal. Scratches. The paper dissolves pretty quickly. So that's why I have another piece. Dip in water. And just keep going. It's a very messy task, as you can see. But it's this front part that I want to concentrate on the most. This is the part that's going to be seen. Just going to run over these bits. Quickly. Water. That's got rid of a lot of crud. So now we take a cloth. I'm going to wipe this off. It does look worse before it gets better, so don't worry. Excuse me, just burped. And that has taken off a lot. This deep scratch in here on the front, I would have to do a very, very high grit, but this is going to take off a lot of the muck. Ah, God, this is hard work, I tell you. I hate doing this, it's hard work. Right, next we are moving up to the 400. Again, just going to rip it in half. Soak that. And again, keep rubbing. Right, so I'm going to continue doing this until I get down to the finest paper. So I'm going to do this on fast forward. I tell you what, doing this gives you a blooming workout. Oh, jeez, Chris. go over it again with the other piece and just keep going and going until I get down to the finest, which is 3000. So wish me luck, and I'll see you in a minute. So there we go. We have definitely made a vast improvement on it. I did not want to go too much on it, but I've taken out a lot of the surface scratches. There's deep ones, you can absolutely see them, but they don't look as bad. So I've made a good start. So it does look worse before it looks better, but I've made a really good start on that. So next thing I have to do now is some of the polishing with the mothers. I am going to use the drill bit for this. Hopefully this will work. So I'm just going to pop that on. I'm going to cut myself a piece of the fine wire wool. I want to see how that works. I want to try the finest one before I go on to any thicker one. So I'm just going to smear, I've gone through almost a pot of this stuff on it. This is when it starts to misbehave. Starts to fly off. Oh, when it starts to go into a ball, just open it back up. Okay, now I'm going to take a clean or a cloth, take a look at that. Wow. This is just the first go with it. It's going to take a number of passes. That's just the first go. I'm looking to see. It definitely looks better than what it was, but it's going to be a lot of hard work. So if I can do the most of it as I can with the drill bit, then it makes the rest of it not so bad. Do you know what I mean? I can still see a lot of surface scratches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it with the thicker grade wool first, and then move down to the finer one. So I am just going to keep cracking on with this. I'll put you in fast forward for you guys to see, but we're not going to get it looking perfect, but it's definitely gonna look shiny. So back in a minute. Okay, so we are almost done. I have polished this bugger within an inch of its life, and considering what it looked like before, that is definitely improved a vast amount. So what I'm going to do now is, this is why I like the peak, because of the final bits of it. I'm not really wrapped. I prefer Mother's, as it's more gritty and really does take off the muck, but I find that the peak is very good for sort of like finishing off polishing, if you know what I mean. So got my drill bit here with a fluffy head, and this is literally just for finishing off. So I'm just going to use this to polish. I want to make sure this is well rubbed in. I can hold it here. And this end. Okay, so it's taking a kind of gunmetal hue. So now I'm going to rub it off. Like that. You will go through a lot of cloths doing metal polishing. Make sure that you remove all of the polish residues. So it's been hard work doing this with the sanding, but to be honest, it was worth it, because the poor thing was in such a state. And even though it doesn't look perfect now, the results speak for themselves. As you can see. Ugh. And now I can see my face in it. Still a lot of deep scratches on it, but that's part of it. That's its age. So what I have got now, I can just dig it out, is a perfectly clean polishing tool. I'm going to take that one off, try and rub as much residue off the drill bit and off the drill. I'm actually going to do this without my gloves on, because my gloves are manky. And I do have Another glove. Where did I put it? Here it is. Ew, they're all stuck together. How could that have happened? Right. And I've got my drill bit here. It's oversized, but it doesn't matter because this is only for final polishing and buffing. And here we go for the final buff. And the metal feels so, apart from the scratches here, but even them don't feel as rough as what they did. Love it. And there we go. Now once Sam has put this beast back together, it will definitely have sticky fingerprints all over it. So then what I recommend for Sam is to just do what I did with a little bit of peak on a cloth over the whole of the parts when they're all put together, just to put that final polish back on. But yeah, you will see that that now looks fantastic. I'm really pleased. The bumper's going to go across here, but when you first look at it, when it's got its Hoover logo here back on it, and it's just going to look, it was very badly wrecked. So let me get the other parts. And as you can see, if I tilt it this way, here are all the parts. I will kind of do a basic reconstruction with it. Like so, just so that you can see now. Which I think it's the wrong way. Yes, it is. Yes, that's right, because they look the wrong way. Once that's all back together with its bag and its motor and everything working, that is going to look absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see. Got it stuck. There we go. And I can't wait to see the finished result. So there we go. That definitely looks so much better. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've found some of these parts, some of these bits interesting for you, or possibly helpful. I am by far means no expert whatsoever. I am literally just what I've seen on YouTube from other people and doing it myself. Some of my inspirations for doing this are from channels like Die-Cast Resurrection and some of the other ones that do the metal polishing for the die-cast matchbook cars, and some other videos I've seen on metal polishing, but by no means I'm an expert. But I think that does look really good. So believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. All you need is some basic tools. The Mother's mag and aluminium polish is the best that I personally have found for its abrasiveness without causing major scratches, and the Peak is absolutely amazing for maintaining or light cleaning. That is fantastic stuff for that. This is more of a thick paste, which I do find doesn't go everywhere when I'm doing a lot of polishing, whereas this one, if I'm doing it slower, because this is a bit more liquidy, I do find this is really good. But I haven't actually tried it on ceramic or fiberglass. I just use it on metals. But yeah, those are the results. They kind of speak for themselves. This is not in the best of conditions, but I feel that I have definitely improved it. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. These are going to go back to Sam. I will put a link to his channel in the video description, because Sam is the one that's going to be putting these back together. So if you check out his channel, you will see what the end result looks like, and he'll probably do a little demo for you as well, so you can see what it looks like all back together. So thank you very much for watching. Please comment, like and subscribe for more videos. So much content coming up for you guys. Refurbs, gadgets, vlogs, you name it. It's all coming up every day. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye y'all.